Hello and welcome to the Inbetween podcast. I'm user host Joe Swan and I'm joined here by Tony Tenzadate. How you doing, Tony?
Hello, is this the first podcast where I got a microphone? I just thought about that.
Yeah, this is the first one, right?
Right, okay. New Year, Christmas is gone.
Your audio sounds so much better now that you are on
Yeah,
the same
I
microphone.
when I listen to myself, like I know, like I guess I'll name drop him. Luke was like, "Oh, I don't hear much of a difference," but like when I listen to myself back, like when it's not working, it's like this actually sounds like what I sound like.
Yeah, it's much better quality.
Yeah, it's like it's more like more. I'm not very good at describing audio. Like audio is like one of my weaknesses. Like I don't understand it at all. But I want to say like it's like a more deep and more defined.
I may be fucking up your
What's the
audio because
word?
I'm wearing my wireless headphones. I'm not jacked straight into the computer audio,
Into the Matrix. Yeah.
so it's recording the audio coming to my wireless headphones. So I may be
Yeah.
distorting it.
Well.
From what I can hear now, it sounds amazing. So
Okay.
you
Okay.
got the what is it? Yeti Broadcaster? Is that what it's called?
It's Yeti Caster.
The Yeti
So I'd actually
Caster.
look at. Yeah, I actually should look at it. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's got a big old blue logo on it, upside down, of course. I don't know if they. I don't understand this. Like, it's designed to be upside down, but the
Right.
logos and the writing is like all the wrong way around. Then I don't. I don't understand. I guess it doesn't matter because like people put it sideways and other
Yeah,
things
people
as
like to
well. So
change the orientation.
yeah,
Does it come with a stand?
yeah,
Like
it's the
an
one with the
arm?
arm.
Arm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I meant to
yeah.
say. And you're
So
you're you're okay using the arm at the moment. It's not getting in your face or anything. Have you got
no,
used
I
to
put it
it?
above my monitors. That's why I wanted the arm to begin with. I wanted it above the keyboard, like so it's like like closest to me, further away from my keyboard and mouse.
Does it have like a pop filter or anything on it? I don't even know what it looks like. That's weird.
No, it's got an attachment point for it though.
Let me look up a
It's
photo of it.
also weirdly so it's suspended between so it's got like so it's like the arm comes to a loop and there's an inner loop that the Yeti is actually connected to and the inner loop
Yeah, I
is
see
like
it now.
is tensioned into it so like it can't vibrate as much or it's dampened I guess it does vibrate but like it's dampened so it doesn't pick up
I
any
was
like
imagining
hits or
like one of
things.
those ones that comes in with the side with like the pop filter and you have it in front of your face and you're like,
Yeah,
hello,
so
how's it going? I'm talking very
yeah.
close.
So you can do that, like you might as well just be able to move it and things. And like I've seen people who use the Yeti caster have like it has like attachment points so you can just like attach it and then like it comes over in front
Right.
and things. So
It was
yeah,
funny because like this whole time I've been like, this fucking Yeti sucks. Don't get
oh
a Yeti.
yeah,
And then you were like, I'm
I,
getting a fucking Yeti, and I'm like, don't do
yeah.
it.
It was during the like we were waiting like it was like between like spotlights or tangerines. I think it was spotlights. I think,
Yeah.
and it was like
If you
oh
if
wait
you've
for the
seen
yay to
any,
fix itself.
if you even, I think it like all of the tangerines that have like I think there's one tangerine out. There's a couple coming out. I just used my other microphone because I gave up on the Yeti
Yeah,
because
it
it
took
just
so
kept
long to fix
breaking
itself.
so much and was breaking for so long.
There was like an hour we were waiting for it, and it was like in between in that hour we were like trying to like search for stuff. We eventually gave up searching for fixes because like it seemed like it was just a hardware problem or
Hmm.
something. And it's like, you know what? I might get a new microphone. It's like I'm looking at this Yeti caster. It's just yeah, it's kind of funny. The timing pretty good. But
So
yeah,
for,
I've not seen any problems with this review wise. So
yeah. So for the podcast today, there's like no news right now other than Cyberpunk bad lol.
yeah, I can
So
attest to that.
we thought now's a great time. It's the start of the year. It is January 3rd. Let's do our games of 2020. Our best games we played in 2020 and the
Yeah,
best demos slash betas or whatever we played
I
in
guess we've
2020.
yeah. I actually kind of split up as well as like games that we've. It doesn't matter what time they came out, the ones we played, and it does matter the ones that
Well, the
actually
thing
released this
is,
year.
you spend so long playing games in a year. Why
Yeah,
only talk about the games that came out in that year?
yeah, like because as we done, I think it was like yeah, it's like 3 years ago. It was like we like missed one because we couldn't fit it in because it was like the wrong year sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like
So
it kind of
that's kind of
sucks.
the category we're splitting up into. I play a lot more games than Tony. This is just
Yeah.
the facet of life.
More so this year than before. I will say that.
Yeah, you're a
Like
Minecraft
not.
main now.
Yeah, I've been doing like really weirdly like technical things like while I've been like watching stuff in the background. I've been podcast spreadsheeting, I think.
So, because I was like, because I was trying to think of a category. Because I came up with 3 categories that I was like, this will allow us to talk about kind of everything we've been playing. And I was like, is there any other category that you would want to add to be like, well, I really want to talk about this game? But then I was like,
This year, no.
well, another great
Oh.
question would be, what is the game you've played the most in 2020?
Hmm.
And you said I don't know initially when I was speaking
Yeah,
to
I
you.
was I'm thinking.
And I was like, it's probably Minecraft. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it probably is Minecraft.
Or
I was trying
Wallpaper
to make sure
Engine. Wallpaper Engine. You.
Yeah, that's actually my main. I'm it's paper engine.
Hmm.
Getting all the papers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a lot of Solaris, but not that much.
You did. Didn't you start like a? You started like a modded run with Vietnam Dave and Scorn Retorts.
No, we're starting a vanilla one tomorrow.
Right, but you've already started a modded one with like Star Trek stuff in it, didn't you?
Oh, sorry, the Solaris stuff. No, we
Yep.
did a vanilla one a couple of weeks ago now. And no, yeah, still just vanilla. We couldn't get the mods
Okay.
to work. A funny story. Michael and Dave could technically play modded Stellaris together, but I couldn't. So no, it's just normal.
So I'm just writing down 2 games I just remembered I played in 2020 that I
Wait.
wanted to talk about.
You not put Forager down.
I just wrote it down right now.
Oh shit! No,
like-
ignore that. I want to get the Men in Black. What's that thing called? Like the mind erasing?
They're like
Seconds.
the flash stick.
Yeah.
Just look directly into the light. Do not look around the light. Guys, I always had it on the list. Right. Well, I'm going to start from games from 2020
Yeah.
because
Let's just go.
I'm going to tell a quick story. I don't know if you know this, but Half-Life is my favorite franchise of all time. You're looking at my desktop background, which is the Citadel from Half-Life Alyx. As soon as the trailer came out, I changed my desktop background to the Half-Life Alyx screenshot. So I was like, I fucking love City 17 from Half-Life. This looks amazing. And I've been looking at this desktop background for the past year.
On the when I was like when we're still doing it in person at the beginning of 2020, like it was there, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because it was weird, because we're going to talk about the Spotlight videos and our favourite demos we played. And I was like, wait, we played a co-op game in person in 2020? It was such a different time at the start of the year. But anyway, I've been wanting to play this for a really fucking long time, since it basically was announced. But then, so for the games of 2019, I think I predicted Half-Life Alyx was going to be delayed. It was not delayed. I was like, because I think because I said to my dad, this came out like right around pandemic time. He's like, oh, was it delayed? And I was like, no, it was surprisingly, Half-Life Alyx was not delayed. I was like, it was insane to me because they had this whole thing where everyone played Boneworks and was like, we want smooth locomotion in the game. And if you don't know, Half-Life Alyx was designed around teleportation. And I was like, oh, I think they're going to delay it, sort of thing, is what I was saying.
Yeah.
And also, I was trying to jinx it by saying it was going to suck, so that when it came out, it was good.
That's not a real one, though.
No,
I'm not counting that one.
But basically, I've wanted to play this since it came out. I couldn't meet up with my brother, because my brother was like, you can borrow my VR set, because I have an Oculus Dev Kit 2, which I'm not playing Half-Life Alyx on. But he doesn't use his Vive as much as he did. So he said, I've got the original Vive here. I can even show it to you. On the cam. The original Vive, which is arguably one of the best ways to play Half-Life Alyx. I've heard some people say they prefer the Vive controllers to the Index controllers, which is kind of interesting.
I've seen that as well.
Yeah, I was watching a Super Bunny Hop video on the Index today, and he's talking about Half-Life Alyx. I'm rambling at this point. Why am I rambling? So basically, he lent it to a friend, and then the pandemic happened, and he was like, oh, I can't get it back off my friend because, we're in the middle of coronavirus. So
yeah,
I was kind of, I've been wanting to play this game pretty much all year, And then I think around, I don't know, when did I get access to VR? I don't even remember.
But it's
Probably when we
before
came out of
Halloween.
came out of lockdown for a bit.
It's like late September, I want to say.
Yeah, something September, October time. So he got it back from his friend. And his friend said he couldn't get it to work, and I was like, oh, maybe it's broken. And he said, well, I'll just give it to you, and you test it out, and then you see if you get it to work. I plugged it in, because I've used the Vive a lot. I've used the Oculus. I know how to set up VR, so I set it up, and it was like, because me and my brother, when we used to set up, we used to like pull the table up the dining room and just go set it up like every time we wanted to play it, sort of thing. So I understood like how much space you needed, how you needed to set up the base stations and stuff. And I just
do you have to move your room around at all?
I moved my chair out of my room, but apart from that,
Okay.
no. I unplug the base stations when I'm not using it because they make a lot. That's one thing. If you have your VR in your room, base stations make a lot of noise.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're like
what kind of noise?
That sort of noise.
Oh, just constantly.
Yeah, because they're like whirling up,
What?
and they're like cameras, basically.
Yeah, but they don't have to be on all the time, though.
Exactly. But there's no on and off button. The on and off button is unplugging them and plugging them.
That's so stupid.
I don't know. Maybe it does have a button, but the thing is, it would be harder to push the button without knocking. I don't have it screwed into the wall. Okay.
Why couldn't it be like
Let me show you how my VR is set up. Give me 1 second.
But why couldn't it be a software button though? Like, the VR headset's not connected or not on, so it won't do anything.
I managed to unplug my webcam when I'm moving it around. I've buggered it, Tony. I've buggered it. It's over, guys.
It up.
It's over. Podcast is over, guys. I've fucked it up. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, can you coax it back?
We'll try and disable it and then re-enable it.
That's the Linus tip, isn't it? The Linus Tech tip.
Turn it on and off again.
Yeah.
Guys, we're back. We're back, guys.
Okay, that worked. Okay.
There's shrimp. It's balance. I should go full cam. What am I doing? Because that way it's actually easier to see what... It's balancing on a book on top of some coat hangers. That's where I have one of the base stations.
Right.
And the other base station is on top of a wardrobe. This is a this is a pro gamer tip of how to set up your VR base stations, guys. That is a pro gamer move right there.
Is it just the right size, the room, or is it like within?
I've unplugged it again.
Technical difficulties,
guys.
Please hold
It's the games of the year, guys. It's the game of the year. So we got.
Yeah, are the base station like isn't there like a minimum size for the how big you need the space for the base stations?
Yeah, it's like 2.2 meters, but my advice is just to lie. It's just to lie, pretty much. Just go, yeah, you've got more space, and then you kind of never. Because it won't allow you to use too much space, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. It won't allow you to. If your area is too small, you can't go. This is how much area I have. It goes. No, this is where I'm ending the setup process. You need more space in this, otherwise you can go suck an egg. And so you kind of have to just lie to it a bit, and then after you've lied to it, you can edit it and make it fit and smaller, sort of thing. It's kind of dumb that's the way, but. So I'm kind of just like tracing over my bed and like, yeah, if I walk into my bed, this is fine, sort of thing.
That's pretty dumb. Why does it need to why can't it just let you have a scuff surf and you deal with where you want to do it?
Yeah.
Have recommendations, fine. We don't recommend you do this. You're like, yeah, fine, but I want to.
Because Vive has or Steam VR has the blue lines when you get too close. But I think the Oculus one's called Guardian, and then with Guardian... you have it has cameras on it, and it shows you like a black and white view of your room when you get out of the area. Yeah. That's really cool. I like that stuff because all the Vive has is it has a camera inside of it, and then if you press the menu button, you can get like a little camera feed on your controller to look at that helps you rearrange your room. It's not as, but I guess it's less immersion breaking if you kind of go out of the bounds, so it's kind of like a trade-off sort of thing. I'm going to be talking about VR for a while because I've been playing a lot of VR this year. It is the year of staying inside your room, given the circumstances that we are living in right now.
It gives me
Um,
hope that I could play VR in my room.
you
So
probably could. I've
yeah.
the thing is, I've never seen Tony's bedroom because I've never been inside of it.
You've
Despite
never been up, like, as far as you know, I live in a bungalow.
I've seen your stairs. They must
You've
go
seen this,
somewhere.
yeah, but are they real?
Right, it could be a hologram.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have no idea how big your room is. So how big is your room roughly? Is it bigger than mine?
Yeah, it's bigger than yours.
Oh, okay, then you can play VR. You can if your room's if I can play VR in my room, I can play it
Yeah,
comfortably in my room. Then you can play it in your
that's
room.
what I was using. Like, if you can play it in your room, then I can play it in mine. That's good though.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know where I like because like the base station has to be diagonally, or I don't know how the base station needs to be set up. Like, I don't really understand.
Why not?
Like,
It's
I know
better to have them in opposite corners to get the most
yeah, and you can
field of
get
view.
forth and make sure like there's no problems.
And
as
if
well.
you
I know that much.
actually, if you, I think the index ones have better FOV because they have
Yeah.
the Vive boxes. They have one on the front and then the sides are plastic. But from what I've seen in the index ones, they like go all the way around to the sides. They have way better tracking ranges. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't
Um,
realize that.
So, and plus, if you're serious about playing VR, you can mount something into your wall and then do it from there. That's probably the pro gamer move. But I was just like, my brother's selling this to me. He doesn't even know if it works. I'm just gonna put the lighthouse up on a book on my
so still, it's
coat
not your
hangers.
VR headset, I guess.
No, I'm just borrowing it. But that I've been borrowing this Blue
Like
Yeti
COVID,
mic.
guys.
I've been borrowing
You
this.
can't give it back.
Tony, I've been borrowing this Blue Yeti mic and the headphones for like 4 years, and he hasn't got them back yet. So,
oh right, wait, yeah, you're borrowing that as well.
I'm borrowing the Yeti and I'm borrowing the headphones that came with that he got as well.
I just thought it was yours.
No, I don't even. Half the things are just my brother's that he never that I never came back to unborrow. So
right, okay. Interesting.
Mine now.
Yeah, okay.
Well, the thing is, I can't really give it to him anytime soon. I want to message him and say you have to play Half-Life Alyx because he needs to play that game. But
okay, this isn't really related. It's like this is complete tangerine.
Yeah, I love tangerines.
But I don't know. This might lead into this more. But I guess like, what are the best right now? Best VR games or experiences that you've played?
That I've played.
Yeah.
Half-Life Alyx.
Like, you can have honorable mentions to this little tangerine I've played if you want, but
I Expect You to Die.
yeah.
Walking Dead Saints and Sinners.
That's the one? Is that the one that Jay
Game
played
of 2020?
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an actual game of 2020. Walking Dead.
Yeah.
As well. I can't believe I played a 2020 VR game in 2020.
It actually looked pretty good. Like, it actually looked genuinely scary.
Then it gets like kind of because those are some of the most. Half-Life Alyx is like the polished gold standard for VR.
Yeah.
But then it gets like to a point where this is really fun but also really janky. So you start to go on stuff like Phasmophobia is insanely fun but really fucking janky. What else is there? I haven't played like Blade or Sorcery or Gorn, but those are like janky experiences.
You play the Beat Saber.
I've played Beat Saber. It's not a real game unless you mod it. That's how I fucking love Beat Saber. But it's more of a experience than a game I would go back and
for sure.
Because it's not like unless you're really into rhythm games, then it's not going to be like something you're going to play a lot.
I don't know. I kind of want to try and get into it. Like, I can't obviously until I play it, like, know if I actually like it. But I feel like it'd be good. Like, I don't really do any exercise, and I feel like it looks like a really fun way to like listen to some music. So
yeah, that's Beat Saber's strength. It's like Audio Shield.
Yeah. And I never understood Audio Surf.
Beat Hazard, Audio Surf, stuff like that. It's a fun way to listen to your music, sort of thing.
Yeah, I never understood like the Audio Surf sort of things. That it wasn't for me. But I've seen racing games though. Like racing games.
Racing games are really
cool.
like yeah. It's a fun way to listen to music.
That's not really a racing game at all. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, you're talking about stuff like Rocket League. They've partnered with Monster Cat, and they have like tons of Monster Cat songs people know from playing Rocket League and
Oh
stuff like that.
right. Yeah.
Because my friend, I said, "Oh, I love this song from one of my friends, Charles. He plays crazy amounts of Rocket League," and I'm like, "Oh, do you know this song from Rocket League?" Because people are memeing on it because it was the new main menu music. And he
Oh
was like,
right.
"Oh, I always play it with it muted so I can listen to my own music, sort of thing."
Oh
Um,
okay. I was gonna say, I'm tangerining from my tangerine here.
yeah,
Have you ever played what's it called? I've lost the word for it. I might have to just I
this
might
is
have
the
to
Tangerine
get
Pod.
it
There
up
is no
on.
format for this other than just
No,
talking
I
about our
know, but
games
he's
for
actually remember the
2020.
fuck I was saying.
I'm just gonna let
It's
this
it's a
Tangerine out of
PlayStation
control.
racing game.
The PlayStation racing game, probably
Like a
not.
futuristic hover racing game. What's that fucking
No, I
called?
don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, fair enough. But that has like a okay. I can't remember what it's called, but in that game and the PlayStation 3 version, there's a PlayStation 4 version as well, which I want to get at some point. It has a mode where like it plays its own music, but like it's like heavily like you have to dodge things and like and get boosts and like just stay alive for long as possible to the beat of the music. It's really cool.
Guys, if you have any idea what Tony's talking about, leave a comment below saying I
Wipeout.
know
Is it
what.
Wipeout? Wipeout HD?
Maybe I don't think I've played that game. Is it
Okay.
Wipeout? I only know it's not a boat
Oh,
racing game,
Wipeout.
is it?
It's not what?
A boat racing game.
No.
Because I used to play Hydro Thunder when I was a kid, and I loved that game.
Oh, okay.
Don't know if you ever heard of Hydro Thunder. That's an
I've
amazing series of
heard of, I've never
motorboat racing
seen.
games.
Right. Okay.
Hmm. But I don't know. Wipeout just sounds like a motorboat racing game to me. So
Right. Okay.
okay, right. But anyway, I have
Check that
VR.
out.
I got it. I started playing a load of games, and then I was like, Christmas is coming up, and I want Christmas to be kind of special again because I feel like if you can get if there's something you really want, you should, as long as it's not too expensive, you should be like, okay, I'm not gonna get it, but then ask one of your family members to get it for you,
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I've done
And
that.
then on Christmas
It
Day,
works way
it's
better.
super exciting. I'm like, I was literally,
Because
I was waiting for
to play
this
it.
to.
Yeah.
I had the VR headset. I played all these other VR games, but I was like, I'm just waiting to play Half-Life Alyx now. I'm getting
Yeah.
it for Christmas, sort of thing, which was really exciting because it brought like some of the magic back to Christmas, sort of thing.
Yeah. For me, this is going. I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, but I'm not a big fan of surprise presents. I much prefer like
Well, I
me
don't think
choosing a
that's
present for someone to
yeah,
get.
yeah. I think if you know what you're gonna get,
Yeah.
maybe you're not gonna be surprised, but then you
But
will at least
I'm
get
really
what you
excited for
want.
what I'm getting.
Hmm.
Because I got a Lego. Okay. I think I might have said this last year, but I'll say it again.
Yeah,
My plan for Christmas was like get like a Christmas street housing set like every Christmas, basically. Like build it and
you've
then
gone
like add to it.
hardcore into Lego recently. I think in the past couple of
Yeah,
years.
yeah, I really like I started
Because I
with like
remember having a conversation with you like maybe a few years ago where you're saying, I just want to buy a box of like random Lego pieces and then just start building.
yeah, originally that's what I wanted from Lego, yeah.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, I really like the oddly it was a fucking Star Wars Episode 8 Star Destroyer, but whatever.
People have gone crazy for Lego. I feel like everyone wants
Yes.
Lego is crazy now, popular
It's
now.
it's getting like bigger and bigger like on YouTube as well.
That's a trend of 2020 for sure. Is fucking Lego is
Yeah.
like crazy popular now. Because I
Switch
think
was crazy popular.
we had like crackers this year at Christmas, and then inside they had like these little Lego builds, and I was like,
that's cool.
I got the Lego City helicopter, and all I could think about
Yeah,
was
that's cool.
one of my favorite memes of 2020, which we'll be talking about on the inaugural
Oh,
meme
yeah,
awards.
I forgot about that.
A man has fallen in the river in Lego City, and I built like the helicopter from Lego City. I feel like we're talking about the games of the Inbetween podcast game of the year for 2020, and I feel like I put more production into the meme awards than I do this show. But That's
Also, we're
fascinating.
25 minutes in. We've
We haven't talked about a single game. I know. It's because I was. Sometimes you've got to set a story, and the story was about
Yeah,
VR, and it was about wanting to play Half-Life Alyx.
on
So I
Christmas.
think it was the day after Boxing Day, after I boxed away all my presents. I set up the VR and I loaded Half-Life Alyx for the first time, and because by this point, I think on Christmas Eve I got a new CPU, so I had the Ryzen
Yeah,
5600.
I saw that. That was impressively timed. That's
Um,
crazy.
I had my 2080
Did it
Super in
work?
there. I had a decked out PC. I was able to run Half-Life Alyx on the highest graphic fidelity. It's quite a demanding game sort of thing. And I loaded up
What, Aaron?
Half-Life Alyx.
Do you want to tell the story of the CPU? I know like only we know about it, right?
What's the story?
It's
I got a CPU.
yeah. What CPU?
I said the 5600X.
Okay. I don't know. I bet there's a
Um,
story in there
is there?
because it's like the whole. Oh my god! It's in stock on scan.co.uk.
Okay.
What's
That's
happening?
another 2020ism. No stock
Yeah.
of anything. I think
No.
CPUs are a
No.
little bit easier than graphic cards, but pretty much everything's been out of
A little
stock.
bit maybe.
But this is the new 5000 series, so that's why it's a big thing. But
Yeah. There's
basically,
not many 3000 in stock either, but.
I wanted to upgrade my CPU because it had been like 2.5 years since I've upgraded it, and it was still.
Because you're on 1.5.
I was on the
Zen 1.5.
Zen 1.5 architecture, and I wanted to move to
Yeah.
Zen 3 for the more powerful individual core performance. Because
Yeah.
notoriously, Zen 1 had very poor individual core performance.
Yeah. Good
which wasn't very
cores,
good
but
for
bad
games.
performance.
I had a B450 board, which led me on like
Right.
so I got the CPU, and then I had to flash your BIOS, which is pretty easy once you know how to do it. I think the easiest part was flashing the BIOS. The hardest part was making a USB stick formattable and bootable by my
Yeah.
computer. That was the hard part. And I
Yeah.
couldn't find any good information about it apart from there was a really great NVIDIA article from 2016 that is perfect. So the easiest way I found to do it was, I think NTFS or something like that is like the default format for a USB. But then
Yeah, I think
it
that's
needs to be a bootable
Yeah.
USB so your motherboard can see it if you're moving from, like, for example,
Yeah,
I had an
like a
X470
boot drive.
board, but I was moving to the Zen 3
Yeah.
architecture, so I needed to flash my motherboard
Yeah.
with the update, because I had the Gigabyte board, which had, I think the Gigabyte was the first board to allow you to use the Ryzen 5000 series.
Yeah, I think it was.
Update on the old boards, and but basically you need it to be in a format called FAT3D, which is it was a pretty old format now to be bootable.
Okay.
But I think FAT3D has quite old file size limits, so you need it to be in FAT3D large. So I found a tool called Rufus, and basically you just run that on the USB stick. Remember, if you're formatting a drive, it will delete any information on it. So if you're going to format a drive to flash your BIOS, make sure you get all the data off the drive first, and then flash it. You could probably even do it. You can do it like a hard drive, an SSD. But my hard drive, I had information on it. I had like backups and information I didn't want to get rid of.
So you put the USB into a way that it's not even Windows. It's like so the motherboard knows it's like a bootable drive and it's externally plugged in.
I used Rufus to turn it to FAT3D large files. I then moved the motherboard update that I downloaded from my motherboard manufacturer's website onto the USB drive. If you don't know what version you're running currently, if you type MS Info into Windows, it will tell you what version of BIOS you're running right now and what version you need to Google to find the next one. I flashed it, got it running.
How long did it take to do? To actually do the flash itself?
The flash itself, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. It really wasn't that long. But the only thing is, you watch it intently, because while you're flashing your BIOS, if your power goes out, that can completely fuck your machine.
Yeah. I was actually watching a video recently where someone actually did that, and I was like, oh no.
There was quite a good PC Gamer N video that I watched as well. Shout out to them for like helping flashing the BIOS sort of thing. But like, because I was helping someone trying to build a budget PC recently, and I was saying like, if you want this CPU, you're gonna have to flash your BIOS, but I don't think you're gonna be
Yeah.
able. It's not an easy procedure to do without help. I think if you've never
No.
built a PC or
It
done anything like that before.
Yeah, like because like I know like Linus was like, oh, just get a B450 board. And like well, with everything, it's like yeah, but Linus, like it's a lot of fucking hassle. Like you could just buy a 550 board, and it
Well,
works
that's
out the
that's the
box.
reason I went 5000 series was because I knew that I could keep my current motherboard. I wouldn't have to wait for the Intel
Yeah,
drop and then be like, see their 14 nanometer and then buy a specific motherboard and then only be locked to Intel CPU sort of
yeah,
thing.
that's one thing I really like about AMD. Like it's really good that you don't have to like every time I built PC and it's like I want a new CPU. Oh, that's a new motherboard then. So I wait so long that it's like yeah, there's no way I can upgrade. Like they do
Oh,
like two CPUs on the same motherboard, and then it's like no, it doesn't work.
yeah, they're very good for spawn architecture. That was a trend of 2020. You can't buy PC parts anywhere. Everything's out of stock. Oh, did you? Okay, I'm going to talk about news for 1 second. Did you see
Okay,
the
okay.
cryptocurrency miner who bought like 70 3090s or something like
Yes, I
that?
did.
And
I
he was
did, yes.
making like. But the thing is, he was making like double a year from the Bitcoin it was mining or something like that. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, think about all the graphics cards people could have been playing on with those things. It's
It
such a
wasn't.
waste.
Didn't they also find 500,000 like in lost shipment as well, though?
Yeah, I think people were like stole like loads of graphics cards.
Yeah.
It's the year of scalpers, guys. Nobody can get any. You can't get a PS5. You can't get an Xbox One, Series X or S or whatever. Um,
Yeah,
and the thing is,
anything
it's
technology is out of
it's
stock.
trickling down now as well because I was trying to help someone build a budget PC. I was explaining that, and it's like you can't buy the budget parts either because people
Nope.
have bought out all the high tech stuff. Then people are
Yeah.
buying out all the mid range stuff, and then the other people are buying out all the budget stuff. So everything's
Yeah.
gone. There's no stock for
Insane.
anything, and
Absolutely
manufacturing's
insane.
behind as well because of the pandemic. So like, you can't buy.
Yeah.
It's hard to buy webcams. It's hard to buy microphones. I was looking. I don't know if you.
Hard by Lego.
Yeah, I don't know if you looked at recently. Steve from Gaming Nexus, he did a video on chairs, and he was like, "Gaming chairs
Yeah,
are shit,"
I saw the
which
chair,
I agree
yeah.
with. And I was like, "I want to buy a new
Yeah.
ergonomic chair. Let me go
Yeah,
see if there's any stock for ergonomic chairs." Nope. You
Yeah.
can't buy office chairs right now.
I
Everyone's
don't
working from home.
I know I've mentioned this on the podcast, but don't ever explain like the amount of time it took me to get my current chair. Like
No.
I couldn't get a chair. This was in April and May. No, sorry. It was end of March and beginning of April. I tried to get a new chair because my old chair was completely broken. This was
Right.
like the only chair I could get. They were completely out of stock.
All right. It's been
It's
half an hour.
insane.
I'm going to talk about a video game that I played in 2020.
That's good. That's a good idea.
Okay, I'm going to pull up some footage so you have something to look at. This is me playing Half-Life Alyx. And I gotta say, they've been waiting, I think it's like 13 years or something to make the next Half-Life game, and it's worth the wait.
It'll be worth the.
Episode 2 release date. When did that come out? I think it was like 20. Was it 2013? Was it 2011? It's giving me Valorant stuff. 2007. Okay, yeah, 13 years since we've had the last episode 2 game. Why did I say 2013? I got it right the first time. I guess you can't see this actually. I'm playing footage right now. I was like, Tony, look at this, but you can't actually see it. I didn't realize that.
I could, but I've taken the objective choice of not. I guess.
I'm just doing a puzzle in 3D right now. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
One thing I will talk about is I played because I remember I don't know. There's a very popular workshop sort of modding community called Map Labs. I've talked about on Tangerines in the past because I love Map Labs and I'm always looking for an excuse to play Half-Life 2 again. It has a challenge every couple of months where you make custom Half-Life 2 maps. And one time someone was like, I'm going to make Half-Life Alyx based on the footage that's been released so far inside Half-Life 2, and I played like the puzzles of Alyx in 2D in Half-Life 2 engine, and they were fucking terrible. I can't explain. It's hard to explain to you how much better the puzzles are in like 3D. It's like, because when you think about games, you think they're 3D. Like your idea of 2D is like Mario, and your idea of 3D is like,
Yeah.
you know, fucking, I don't know, Mario 64 or whatever.
Technically, everything is 2D like when it gets to your eye anyway. So even like your 3D life experience is 2D.
But that is one of the big differences between VR and traditional games. Is it's the difference between 2D and 3D, and and a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about is hard to explain unless you've experienced it, which is one of the most cop-out things I could say. I know, but the problem is
it's true.
I can't explain VR without sounding like I'm pitching a Peter Molyneux game.
I think you do it anyway, though.
I've made a list of some of the things that you can experience in VR but are hard to experience in traditional video game media. Okay. Sense of scale, the feeling of being somewhere, like being able to touch stuff with your hands and pick things up and move them around with your hands. It's insanely immersive.
That kind of connected to the sense of scale because like the scale is so accurate. Like you can then like feel like you're actually there.
The controls in VR are intuitive. If someone throws something at me, I can grab it with my hands. That's not something that's. How do you open a door in a game? Oh, you go up to it and you press E, or you press F,
you pull it towards you.
In VR, you pull open a door. Opening doors in VR is not as simple as that. I wish it was, but I now understand actually why they had a entire presentation at Valve about opening doors in VR, because it's not great.
Why is it so? What's the problem with it? Like you pull it for your own head. Is that like?
So the question is, do you push the door away from you and you're kind of moving out your play space, or do you pull it towards you and pull it into you and it gets like caught?
Yeah.
What's the good way of opening a door in VR?
You have to pull it, like, so you definitely don't actually push it into a wall.
The way it works in Half-Life Alyx is you can basically open doors and then you can push them away or pull them. They're kind of both ways, and you can kind of do it. But in Alyx, the only thing that has physics is your hands, and that's actually really cool. Is because like as I got more and more into the game, I was realizing how sometimes I wouldn't even use my hand to open things. Sometimes I just take out my gun and then push open a cabinet with my gun intuitively. And that's on my list. So you are able... The controls in VR are so intuitive because they come from our innate understanding of how things work. You know how to open a cabinet because you've opened a cabinet before. How do you open a cabinet in a game? Or you press E. Yeah, but you have an understanding of video games. Yeah. And I think like... That's something that's very hard to explain.
That's pretty like simple example, I guess. But there's other things where like other puzzles where like it's really obvious. Like I can just put this into this and it'll work, or I put this and hold it and it'll work.
Another thing, so this all ties into this as well. Immersion is so good in VR. Sometimes I forget I'm playing a video game until I like walk into something and I'm like, shit, I'm in a video game.
It's amazing how parallel.
Oh, I love. I'm showing something on screen right now. I love how there's in a lot of VR games I've played, everything feels so light because you pick up like an anvil and you pick it up with one hand and you just immediately yeet it across the map. And it's like this has no weight to it. In Alyx, they found a way to give certain objects weight, like physics. You can pick up small items with one hand and throw them around.
Yeah.
A barrel, you need to pick it up with two hands, and it has real weighted physics to it.
I like that.
Yeah,
that makes sense as well because your eyes tell you like if you can't pick it up or not more than your arms.
Well, I look at an object and I go, "Oh, this is way too fucking big. I can't pick this up."
If I try to lift up my desk, like I'm not feeling that I can't lift it. My eyes are like it's not moving.
So the immersion. This all ties into me saying that Half-Life Alyx is the horror game of the year because it's fucking terrifying. Everything is fucking terrifying in VR.
Are those the walkers and things in this game?
You mean like the zombies?
No, the big
The Striders.
That's it.
The game
Striders.
starts with a Strider, Tony.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it starts with a Strider building City 17. That's one of the things
That's
they talked
terrifying.
about in the developer commentary was they wanted to show the Striders building the Citadel to be like to get your focus on the
right.
sense of scale
Yeah.
of the actual city sort of thing. Because it's one of the cool things
Yeah.
about VR. Oh god, the horror. This game is terrifying. Because one of the first places you go is the quarantine zone. So most of the game, I would say, is set inside zombie-infested areas. And I actually think that's one of the strengths of the games is I think I had the most fun in the game when I was going through dark, dimly lit areas just fighting zombies. I think that's probably one of the best things in the game, sort of thing.
I find as well, like I don't know if this is true throughout the whole game, but what I've seen of Half-Life Alyx, like the lighting to make it look creepy is very well placed.
The alien
very
fauna,
well
is really fucking cool. So the quarantine zone, there's an entire chapter called Jeff, which I think is around. Once you reach Jeff, you will experience true terror. I will not tell you what happens in Jeff because this is going to be a spoiler-free review, as Tony does not want to know what Jeff.
Yeah, I actually really want to play Half-Life Alyx, so.
Yeah, and I would highly recommend it because I would say Half-Life Alyx is probably my game of 2020. If I was giving an in-between podcast game of 2020, it would be Half-Life Alyx. There's no game.
That good? Okay.
Yeah, there's no game that even comes close to this. It is so good.
It's insane. Okay.
And it still has that it still has the Half-Life physics, like you can throw around barrels and blow them up, or you can pull things towards you. The gravity gloves are so intuitive. When I have to pick up things with my hands in VR, it feels terrible that I can't just use the force to pull it across with gravity gloves. What was I going to say?
Do you find like once you take the headset off, like you feel like you want the stuff in the game?
Yeah, I want to grab things with gravity gloves in real life. So people that are upset that they couldn't play Half-Life out, they were like, I don't have an expensive PC and headset set up to play this game. It wouldn't work outside of VR. The game is made from the ground up in VR. It is not designed outside of VR, and that's kind of the strength of Alyx. Is it's a full VR game, and it's not just if you're thinking about most VR games I've played, they're like a couple of hours of fun. But this game is so polished, it can't be that long. This is a fully fledged Half-Life game in VR. It's insane. There's a full Half-Life game inside Half-Life Alyx. It's not just like a tiny prequel. And
how long is a Half-Life game then? I don't actually know. Like
it really depends. Because Half-Life games.
How much Half-Life Alyx then?
How long is Half-Life Alyx?
Yeah.
It really depends because it depends what difficulty you play on, how long you spend in environments. Because Steam says I played around 20 hours in my playthrough, but I feel like some of that was me idling, like taking breaks, because like every couple of hours I would take off the headset and I'd go downstairs and I'd take a drink of water or whatever. I would say it's at least 10 hours long, at least for most people. Like
that's
10 hours.
Pretty good experience. Good.
But like 10 to 20 hours
story.
is what I would say for most people, which is like a very good length for a game. Depending on difficulties, I was playing. So it put me on normal. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll try the game on normal. So there is a hard difficulty which would make it a lot longer. There's an easy difficulty which make it a lot shorter. Another thing is, I'm somebody who gets motion sickness sometimes. I never experienced it once in Half-Life Alyx because the entire game is designed for teleportation, and I used teleportation. And I think it started when I played Phasmophobia. I got used to using the D-pad to turn, which makes things a lot easier once you get used to that. I can't believe it took me that long to pick it up, but using the smooth turning with like the D-pad on the Vive controller to turn around makes like orientation so much easier, where I can stay in a good place where my senses can see me in my small room, but also I can turn smoothly without like walking into stuff. It's really cool. I love the Russian Zoot, so I think like some of my favorite levels probably the entire quarantine zone's amazing. I love Jeff. Jeff's an amazing chapter that is genuinely terrifying and more terrifying than the literal horror games I've played in VR. What's the other chapter? There's a chapter set in a Russian zoo that is fucking amazing. Just the levels of detail. You're going around at this zoo and you have all these cages, and then there's like head crabs inside these zoo exhibits. That's one of my favorite levels in Half-Life Alyx. That is amazing. Because I think Half-Life Alyx is set in like Eastern Europe, like Russia sort of thing. Like it's Eastern Europe architecture. Okay. Yeah, so you're going around the zoo and it's just telling you about the zoo in Russian. I'm like, I don't speak Russian, but I still love the atmosphere of this place.
Yeah. I think Russian buildings are creepy inherently, though. Maybe that's just me being
You're just scared of Russian buildings. Yeah.
I'm scared of Russians.
Yeah, that's true. Like that's Steven Seagal, the Russian.
Yeah.
May I laugh in your face?
Ha. He's Russian. Though.
He's Russian.
I mean, he might be a police sheriff or on the police sheriff team as well, but he's also Russian. Cause...
So I would say that one of the big strengths of Half-Life Alyx is the details are small but incredibly detailed. Everything is so incredibly detailed. So one of the strengths of Half-Life Alyx is exploration is really fun because you want to go around and you want to look at everything, and the game rewards exploration because it has ammo everywhere. It has hidden resin. That's something that was really interesting. This is the first game where you can get upgradable weapons, and the upgrades feel really cool as well.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah. Before, you would just carry around an arsenal of like 10 weapons. In Half-Life Alyx, you get you get different guns throughout the story up to 3. So you're only ever carrying 3 guns around. So they wanted to add an opportunity to change the gunplay a bit. So they added the upgrade system where exploring the environments is rewarding because you find resin, which lets you use these combine machines to upgrade your weapons. And there's tons of really cool upgrades. I like the upgrades that add like little pinpoint sensors to your guns so that they hover over weak spots. There's a great upgrade for the shotgun. That means you can like store a grenade on it and turn it into a grenade launcher, basically. And you have to choose like what you carry because you can carry unlimited ammo as long as it's full clips on your backpack. But if you want to carry meds, you have to. You only have 2 pocket slots. So underneath your gloves, you have 2 slots. So here you put med injectors, grenades, and also you can carry the medical slugs that you can use on combine machines.
Right, okay.
The combine machines are so much cooler in VR as well because... you can put one hand on the machine and be healing, and then you can use the other hand to look around and hold your gun out in case more Combine are coming, because there is Combine fights as well. I think I preferred the zombie fights to the Combine fights. I think the first time I got the first time I got into a fight with a Combine was very jarring, because you spend all this time where you're slowly walking around exploring, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're getting shot at in VR is very different compared to what you've experienced so far. So I think the first combat encounter you get to is probably in around chapter 5 sort of thing, somewhere. And I think that combat encounter, I really hated the first combat encounter I had. I found it really hard. I ran out of ammo. I kept getting shot and dying. But then once I had a few more of them, I found that actually I quite enjoyed the combat with the Combine a lot later, once I figured out that once again the game rewards exploration. So when you're in the middle of a fight, there is going to be ammo scattered around the fight. There's going to be medkits scattered around. So you need to explore while you're in the midst of a battle. And I found once I fully immersed myself in the game, whereas at the beginning on the first fight I really didn't like it because I was kind of slowly teleporting around and I was I wasn't fully committing to the game, I would say. But then on the later fights, I was
used to it.
I was diving under cover. I was on the floor, shooting people, using all my stuff. Once you fully get into the combat, it's amazing.
I was gonna say the shooting experience could be very different because in a normal video game, you have you don't really have superpowers, but it's one button and you do this thing. Whereas in VR, you actually have to do it.
You can see in the footage that I've got that you underestimate video game characters and movie characters when they have a a monster running towards them and they drop their ammo clip and they fuck up and like, oh, that would never happen. And then I play VR and there's a head crab jumping at my face. And then I'm like, shit, and I drop my ammo clip and I'm desperately trying to reload my gun and stop it jamming. And I'm like, shit. And it's like, yeah, this is real. This really happens.
Yeah. I saw a lot of clips of people like dropping stuff.
Yep.
That was pretty good.
But yeah, this game's amazing. This is I would say my single player game of 2020 would have to be Half-Life Alyx. I'm so glad I've played through this now. One thing I will mention, if you're a Half-Life fan and you're like, man, Half-Life Alyx is just a prequel. It happens 5 years before what happens in Episode 2. Why would I go back and play this? All I care about is ending the Half-Life story. The game starts with telling you the events of Episode 2. So I think it's better if you've played through the other Half-Life games first. I think it will make this game a lot better because it kind of goes into what happens in the end of Episode 2 before the start of this game. But I will say... Yeah.
I was say it kind of my experience. Like I always think like you should always play or watch content like when they were released in the real world, not like in chronological order.
Because I think what Valve did was they wanted to design a game that Half-Life fans could go into and play after playing Episode 2. Yeah. But they also want to design a game that anyone who hadn't played a Half-Life game could go in and play as well. And I think that's what they did well with this game. But I will say, if you are a Half-Life fan and you have access to this game, don't think it's just a strange little VR prequel that you don't really need to play. You have to play this game. You have to play this game to the end. The ending is borderline experimental. I'm going to do a J. If I haven't played Half-Life 1 or 2, I don't think I even owned them. Yep. I would play Black Mesa if you were going to play Half-Life 1, but go on.
Okay. But I have to wait. Basically, you're saying my only option is to wait until Freeman Mind is completed.
No.
No?
Why are you saying? Because I'm saying don't play it if you haven't played Episode 2, sort of thing.
No. If I want like if it's improved from like knowing the full story.
You could probably play Half-Life Alyx without playing the other games, but I wouldn't fully recommend it, sort of thing. I think it's so much better if you've played the other Half-Life games first. Yeah. It's a weird thing where I'm going to say play the sequel after. I'm going to say play prequel, play the sequels after the prequel, sort of thing, and it will make sense once you play it. But I really want to talk about the ending of the game, and I cannot. Because nobody else but me and 10 other people have played Half-Life Alyx, because we're the only people with VR systems.
Well, you and all of the people that bought indexes and that sold out all the time.
So. I do not have an index, no, but I've got a Vive.
No, but there's at least that number of people plus more.
The characters in this, I think there's only like 5 or 6 characters in the game, but they're amazing. I love Rhys Darby as Russell. If you don't know, he's from like Flight of the Conchords. He's the New Zealand guy who plays Russell, which he's really funny in this. I don't know why they had to recast Alyx. That was a bit strange.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, they made like a generic. Oh, it's not the artistic direction we wanted. Like, what the fuck does that?
They wanted a younger Alyx, but it was only 5 years younger. So
yeah, I don't understand that one.
Didn't really seem necessary, but I guess. I'm just looking at shock dogs at the moment. You don't know what shock dogs are, but you will learn what a shock dog is.
Okay.
Anyway, I should stop talking about this so I can talk about another game. But this is my game of 2020.
20 minutes to explain why it's your game of 2020.
Well, I could probably go on longer, but I would. It would only waste time of you not playing Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah, true.
Because I know. Okay, this is something I will say. I've said this in the past. When I truly love a game, I will find any excuse to play it again. And currently now, I've finished the game. And yesterday, I was playing workshop maps in Half-Life Alyx, and I want to play more Half-Life Alyx. And I'm probably later today, maybe even or tomorrow, I'm going to play more workshop maps for Half-Life Alyx because it's really fucking fun. So, yeah, if you have access to VR, check out Half-Life Alyx. It's fucking amazing. Even if you're not a Half-Life fan, check out Half-Life Alyx. it's the best
Yeah.
VR game out there right now. So yeah. Do you want to talk about a game? Otherwise, I'm going to dominate the show. Is there any games you want to talk about before I go on to the next one?
No, keep going. I will
Okay.
interject with other stuff. It's fine.
Go on to the next game. No.
Oh, I didn't realize you played that game. Okay, interesting.
Which game?
Oh, the second one on the list you've got.
Doom Eternal?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I've played quite a bit of Doom Eternal, actually. I've played probably about half
okay.
the game, sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got Doom Eternal around Christmas time, so I started playing at the end of the year again, because, as I say, as we always make these games of the year sort of lists, I always get on my games at the Christmas sale, usually, or Christmas
Yeah.
time is the year where I get gifted games, I get Christmas money, I buy lots of games because they get on massive sales.
This happens every year, as far as I can tell. Like, it starts around about Halloweenish. It's like people start buying each other games and things, and it like carries on all the way to December, and then.
So this might be a trend of 2020 or recent years. Is it just me, or is the price of games have gone up? Obviously, but it seems like a lot of AAA games now they have these ridiculously high prices, but they go on sales like 3 to 6 months after they've come out. They're on like half price already. Like that seems like I got Doom Eternal half price, and it hasn't even been out a year yet, sort of thing.
No, but I would say be kind of careful, because when you raise a price, the percentage off looks better than it actually is sometimes. But it's still impressive. Like like it's £50, isn't it? And it like turned down to 25.
I think it was 25 with the DLC sort of thing, even.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might still be on sale at the moment.
Well, you still see with the bundle, right?
So I spent £25 on it because I bought the single player DLC as well. But if you buy Doom Eternal on its own, it would normally cost you £50, but right now it costs £15, £16.94 to get Doom Eternal.
But if this was like back in the, if this was back, I can't remember when it was like this price. One games used to cost £30, PC games. This would only be like I say only. It'd be about 50% off, right? At the moment, it's like 2/3 off.
It's 67% off right now.
Yeah.
And the game came out in March, I believe. Yeah, March.
Yeah. It's just that if you raise the price of the base of the game, you can get away with a bigger.
What I'm saying is, like, people are still pre-ordering this game at full price. They're complete suckers. Complete suckers. Why?
I say that as I pre-ordered Cyberpunk.
Yeah, and I said to you at the time, why are you pre-ordering Cyberpunk?
I'm okay giving CD Projekt money, other than the crunch time they do and the lies that they've done with the launch of Cyberpunk. But
removing games from the store because of Chinese censorship.
Yes. But I still like a lot of what CD Projekt Red does, so I don't buy into the bullshit like that they're completely pro-consumer. Like, obviously they're not. They're still a company.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I'm here to talk about
their actions.
But yeah, I got the £25 because this is the first Doom game with single player DLC. The first game, notoriously, they were like, multiplayer is going to be a big thing, so they tried to do multiplayer DLC, and nobody played the multiplayer of Doom 2016, even though it was pretty good. I liked the multiplayer of Doom 2016. It wasn't terrible.
A lot of people hated it.
The single player was just the good part of the game, sort of thing.
Yeah,
that was the interesting part. So one of the big differences, I would say, between Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal is the fact that you have way more movement abilities in Doom Eternal. I love that as someone who's a big fan of games with high mobility, stuff like Cluster Truck. I love speedrunners. Stuff like, what am I thinking of? Hot Lava. I just love games where Apex Legends, games where you have lots of movement are games for me, and I love the movement changes in Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of movement.
Because you had the double jump in Doom 2016, but now you have dashes. You have you can swing from bars and stuff like that, and there's
Yeah, that
lots
was
of ways to
interesting.
customize your mobility as well. Like I have a build where I have like quicker dashes, and then if I glory
What?
kill someone in the air, it like refunds my dashes, stuff like that.
Oh, okay, interesting.
What are you gonna ask?
What's your opinion of how they do the pole swings?
I think it's fine.
Okay, okay. I just
What
thought
are you
it
gonna
was a
say?
little bit weird. I haven't properly played. I know I don't think I've done a pole thing at all. So yeah, I have not
Dave says
played
my
it.
thoughts are that selling more units before the end of the fiscal year looks better for the company than any sales past that point. That's a good point. So if they sell a lot around Christmas, and they can say, "Well, we sold this many units in
Um,
2020."
that's true. It's kind of it's. I say that's true, but I think more fundamentally, it's like it's in the money coming in more than actually number of sales. But number of sales,
Number of
regardless, okay,
sales is very
regardless how
important for
cheap it is,
stock.
number of sales gives you money because it's not a fucking store product. It's a digital only product. So anything past the R&D you've got from the start
Yeah,
is
yeah,
pure
yeah.
profit. So
But the sales figures affect stock prices, which is very
oh yeah,
important.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
which is why I think that can be quite important. But anyway, yeah, I love Doom Eternal so far. I was gonna say if I hadn't have played Half-Life Alyx, I probably would have said Doom Eternal's probably my game of the year sort of thing.
Really
I love this game.
interesting.
This game's really and it
Okay.
looks amazing as well. I thought this game was supposed to have ray tracing and DLSS.
Really? I
DLSSSS.
didn't. I didn't think so.
I
But
think they were
okay.
gonna patch it in at one point. I thought it was gonna come
Was that
later,
the
sort of
plan? Was
thing.
it?
Yeah, but
Right.
I'm playing it in 2021, I guess, and it still doesn't have ray tracing or DLSS.
No.
But the game still looks amazing, so that is cool to
Yeah, you can
see.
get really good graphics without like rasterized graphics still can look really good, and I feel
Mm.
like if you do it right, you can match
Well, I
RTX.
mean, like, the Doom engine is one of the most ridiculously
Yeah,
optimized engines out there,
yeah,
sort of thing. So that's cool to
it's
see.
insanely good. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I voted for this for my soundtrack of the year sort of thing as well. The Doom soundtrack's really
Yeah,
cool
that's
as
fair.
well. I have a Bethesda account now because you have to make a Bethesda account to play this game. They finally got me, and then I realized
Yeah,
it
that's
was
still
like
cool.
I tried to make a Bethesda account. It's like, oh, you already have a Bethesda account under this name. I was like, wait, I had a Bethesda account this whole time. I was
Wait,
like,
what are you
okay,
looking to account for?
probably like Dishonored or something, like
Oh,
some
already.
optional
Oh,
feature
okay.
or something. But yeah, they finally got me, Wink. I got a
Welcome to
Bethesda.
the family.
Welcome to the family. And now you basically can't launch Doom Eternal without making a
Yes,
Doom account, sort of thing.
that
I think
still
it might be
helps. It
technically
still has your
possible with
help.
some weird skip, but from what I can realize,
Like
from
playing
what I could
offline
see,
skip sort of thing.
yeah. But from what I can see, you kind of pretty much have to have one if you want to get onto it
Yeah,
easily.
it's easier to just sign in. Yeah.
That was kind of disappointing, but I mean, the game is still fucking amazing. Guns are weighty. I'm playing on ultra violence, I think, which is like the if you are quite used to FPS and quite good, and I found that difficulty quite good. I'd recommend playing on
Okay.
that one if you're an FPS guy. Um, that one's quite fun. I haven't played like the mode where you only have one life, and if you die, you have to restart the game. Because this
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's
this is. I
insane.
don't remember this feature in Doom 2016, but this one has a feature where you can find extra lives on the map. So
Oh
instead
right.
of dying and going back to your previous checkpoint, you instantly respawn in the middle of a
Yeah.
fight, and it gives you another chance, sort of thing. So you can collect power ups, and I think maybe in the higher modes you have it set up so you only have one life, but you can collect extra lives. That's one of the game
Yeah,
modes you could play. That might be pretty
I
interesting
have
rather
no
than a straight
interest.
hardcore mode.
Yeah, I have no interest in normal hardcore modes, but hardcore modes where like you can collect lives, I find way
Well,
more
that's kind of
appealing of
more
an
like
idea.
the arcade kind of old school style.
Yeah,
And I feel like
I
Doom's
like that.
always tried to mix the new style of games with the old
Yeah,
school style of the old game
that's.
sort of thing.
I
This
think the
I'm
best
glad
of
to make
both.
id making games again. That's true. They did
Yeah,
make
still
that they made the sequel to that Mad Max game. What's it called?
right.
Rage 2. Yeah, and
Rage
I feel
2,
like
yeah.
that came out and people didn't like it that much.
It was mediocre, right?
Yeah,
That
it
was
got
the
like
issue.
mediocre reviews.
I really wanted to be like I wanted to
So
be
this is
like
the one
Mad
I've been
Max
talking
Doom,
about.
but it wasn't. I'm still kind of interested in that, but yeah,
So I feel
kind of
like you could
sucks.
farm extra lives for like a really hard boss, but I always died and used it. I never had more than one extra life, so your mileage may vary based on how good at the game you are and what difficulty you play on. But it was nice when
Right.
I was in a tough fight to have the extra life sometimes. And there are like hard encounters, so one thing I found quite so Doom 2016 is an incredibly single player game, but then Doom Eternal has like a battle pass. It has like weekly challenges, and it's like you get XP from playing the game, which obviously is content you don't have to engage with, but then it gives you stuff like, I don't know if it's still available at the moment, but you can get like a Santa Slayer outfit where you can be like the Doom Slayer in a Santa outfit if you go through this battle pass earning XP and stuff. And then I assume that you can pay money to skip it if you want to. That's kind of the shtick they're doing. But it's still fully unlockable throughout the game, so I just see it as extra content. But if that's something that really kind of rubs you the wrong way, maybe you want to avoid that sort of stuff. That is in the game as optional stuff.
Right. Okay.
Um, and then each level's kind of split up where every combat encounter gives you a point to spend on like abilities, and then there's like, so you can like track your progress through a level, and you can fast track between the level, and you can go back. So it feels like they have designed it in a way where you can go and run missions again, sort of more like a kind of like a looter shooter kind of game, but it's obviously not a looter shooter game. But it's kind of it. Some of the mechanics in Doom Eternal are a little closer to, they're a little bit closer to a game like, you know, Diablo or Borderlands in a lot of ways, because some of
Yeah.
the levels feel like they're designed. I don't think the levels feel like they're designed to be run multiple times, but there is mechanics that lets you run things multiple times,
Yeah.
sort of thing. And there's now a hub world as well, which is
That's
very
what weirds
different.
me out. How does
Um,
that work?
so you go on a ship between missions, and then as you
Okay.
play more missions, you can unlock new areas, and
Right.
then there's even like combat encounters you can do on it for like challenges and stuff. Because there's like mastery challenges on Doom Eternal. So for example, when you use the scope on the rifle, if you get 150 headshots, then you unlock the mastery, and then it means like when you headshot someone, they explode and it deals more damage, sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, the challenges on the ship are a good way to unlock your mastery challenges. That sounds like a
Right.
good
Okay.
middle ground for people who don't want to be, you know, going through levels, wasting all that ammo, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, the story I cannot speak on. Vietnam Dave pays attention to the story of Doom. I do not give a shit about the story of Doom. I just want to go and kill demons. That's what Doom's about. That's what I've been doing. I don't care
That's
about
good.
going around. You're killing hell priests or
My
something to stop
my
Earth being controlled by demons. I don't care.
my
I want
joke
to
would
kill
be
people.
my joke would be there's a story in Doom and you were gonna try and talk about
No, I was not, because
it.
nobody cares about
I
that
feel like
apart from Dave.
I feel like Doom's like a really good game because no one cares. If you do care about the story of Doom, then people are not going to spoil it because they don't care about the story of Doom.
Yeah, there's
Like you're kind
collectibles.
of pretty
There's
protected.
there's collectibles that give you information about deep lore about the Doomslayer
Yeah,
and the Knights of the Protectors of Earth and some shit. There's like
I
you,
can.
I
I'll
don't
say this though.
know.
I can kind of understand
I don't
like you don't want
care.
to have like the theme or like the feel of like each level ruined though. Like I can understand that.
Hmm.
I guess that's like more important.
I just want to kill demons. And I tell you
Yeah.
what, if Doom Eternal does something right, killing fucking demons is fucking fun, dude. And it's still fun. And, you know, I had so much fun in 2016 playing Doom, and in 2020, Doom is still fucking fun to walk around and kill
I
demons, and it looks amazing as
I
well. So,
I love how they're still innovating on how they can make demons fun to kill, or new
yep.
demons fun to kill with first person
Did
shooter.
I talk about the
That's
chainsaw?
nice for him.
That's one thing I mentioned. Ammo's kind of different, whereas in the other game you would save up your chainsaw to kill a big enemy, but now you use your chainsaw very often to sort of thing.
Yeah,
Because I think some people complained that there wasn't enough ammo, but the thing is, I think you just have to get used
right.
to using your chainsaw more to get ammo, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Is
that's
how
like
I
I
see
remember
it.
that in like development speaking about it is that they wanted to use the chainsaw because it was so fun, but then they made it
Yeah.
in the first game that you didn't want to use it, so
Hmm.
they changed it so you have
So
to
you
use
can
it
see
to
in the
try and
game,
get
but
more
I'm
ammo.
just constantly using the chainsaw now because that's kind of
Yeah,
how the game's designed. Is just they want you to use the chainsaw now.
yeah, okay.
Jesus, it's like an hour and 10 minutes. I've talked about 2 games. Okay, what else is there to talk? Let's go over some other games quickly. Let's do some quick ones. What's some quick ones? Oh, I can talk about Fall Guys quickly.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot before anyway.
Yeah, so I'm going to be showing footage from Tangerine. So if you want to know my more in-depth opinion on a game, if I talk about it quickly, just go to the Tangerine video for this, and I'll talk about. But those 2 games I just talked about, I had not done a Tangerine video on, so that's basically the Tangerine video for this year because
Yeah,
I've talked about them in depth now. Fall Guys is one of you said what's the game? I said to you, what's the game you played the most? We said probably Minecraft. I think one of the
Yeah.
games I played the most in 2020 was probably Fall Guys. Fall Guys is a game I played like 60, 70 hours of. I love this game.
Yeah,
It's
insane.
such mindless, carefree fun, especially with friends. I love this game, and I think I don't know if I don't. Are we gonna do Steam Award at some point and talk about? I feel like we can't do. Well, we'll talk about the Steam Awards again when the actual
I think
final things come through.
I think smaller amount of content, but yeah, I kind of want to. I feel like we rant on about this every year, but we're gonna do it again anyway.
We're gonna talk. We talked about our nominations, and then when you have the voting phase, and then you have the
Yeah.
winners. So I guess when the winners come out, we'll
Then
talk
we-
about what we voted from the choices.
And we also then rage at people who actually won if we don't think deserve it. But yeah, we'll do that at
that's the thing.
some point.
But let's just say, I fucking love Fall Guys. I think this game's amazing.
Why is this not Game of the Year though? Like, it's Doom Eternal and Half-Life I accept is better.
Yeah.
But is Doom Eternal much better or
Are you asking about
eking out
Are you asking about
above
the
Fall
Steam
Guys?
Awards?
No, like
Okay.
right now.
Do I think well the thing is Doom Eternal's a single player game and this is a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
So I can say my
Does that
multiplayer game
change?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I
You
think
want to split into 2.
well the thing is it makes it a bit easier for me because it's like comparing apples
Yeah.
and pears in a lot of ways. When you compare
I like to compare apples to pears. I like to think apples are better than pears, so
I want to point out this is beta gameplay we did the Tangerine on and I've got a lot better at the game now. So
you got a lot of you got some Andy Schratz, Halo Andy Schratz, and some other pro Schratz.
I've won
under your
like
belt.
10 plus games of Fall. I played Fall Guys like last week and I won 2 games in a row, guys.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm kind of a pro gamer now. But yeah, this is really fun. I think this may shock you, but I think Fall Guys might be my multiplayer game of the year. I think Fall Guys is
I can
amazing.
understand that.
Because the other game that came close to being my multiplayer game of the year would be. Go on.
No, you finish. I thought you just said it makes more sense.
Well, I think my other multiplayer game of the year would probably be Phasmophobia. And this is another VR game as well, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I was going to say though, it's like I feel like there's another. It's not. This isn't really an award, but like best spectating game is also Fall Guys. Like I find it really fun to like watch people play Fall Guys. Like it's a really good game to watch.
But yeah,
I've done a lot of other games, not so much.
So I think the games I've played the most this year are probably Fall Guys and Phasmophobia. I think I've played like 30 hours of Phasmophobia exclusively in VR. That's how much I love the VR component of this. I feel like it's not even a game sometimes when I'm playing it not in VR. Like the difference is night and day for me a lot of the time. And again, it's going to be another thing where I'm saying it's so hard to explain to someone why VR is so good and why it's so different from playing it on a PC sort of thing.
There's one thing I know that I've heard: you can fuck about with people and pretend to be a poltergeist.
That's true, but you can not only you can do that on PC. But the thing is, can you really throw a plate at someone when you're doing it on a computer? That's the real question.
In a creepy manner.
I think Phasmophobia is an amazing VR experience because it gives you a way to play VR with your friends who don't have VR, which is a really great experience to do.
Was VR chat or whatever, like a big
VR
Twitch
chat,
a couple of years ago?
Yeah, you can play
So
non-VR
that's like a
in
similar
that as
thing
well.
that's like really good for that as well. Like, oh my god,
I think I convinced at least one friend to go out and get a VR headset just because he was so jealous of me walking around in my VR-ness in Phasmophobia. He went out and bought an Oculus Quest 2 just so he could play VR as well, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was a good time to invest in the pandemic. Get VR. Oh, this is a great bug, guys, by the way. I think I talked about this in the Tangerine. It isn't out yet, so there will be a Tangerine on this. But there is a bug in VR where you just start spinning around in circles non-stop.
That is good.
And it's on the known bug list, guys, so they know about it.
It's more of a feature, I think. You're being possessed.
Yeah. But yeah, when the Tangerine comes out, I think maybe this week or next week on Wednesday, I'll go fully into depth about Phasmophobia. But yeah, I've played a lot of Phasmophobia. I think Phasmophobia and Fall Guys are probably two of my games of 2020 for multiplayer specifically, because I think Half-Life Alyx is the best game I played this year. Closely followed, and then there's a big gap, and then there's Doom Eternal, because there's no game that's close to Half-Life Alyx in like terms of how well it's made. It's genuinely a masterpiece.
Yeah. Best VR game for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I would, because the thing is, I was saying, like, when we were voting on the Steam Wars, I was like, I've had so much fun in VR and Phasmophobia, but I haven't played Half-Life Alyx yet. And that's why I'm like, this is the best VR game I played, because I haven't played Half-Life Alyx yet.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Was good.
Another great multiplayer experience, it's one of my favorite games of 2020, is Jackbox Party Pack 7. I played a lot. The new Jackbox is really fun. Jackbox is always a great way, especially in these days, when you get a bunch of friends on Discord, you're all not meeting up with each other, but anyone can just go on their phone and play Jackbox. And we've made so many new friends who don't have gaming PCs, who don't have laptops. They just have like a phone, or they just have some way of getting on Discord, and they can just play games with us immediately. It's just such a great, way to play games with new people, sort of thing. And the new games are fun. The new games are fun. I
was gonna say that because we've had issues before. I'm not a massive fan of party games, so I don't rate Jackbox that highly. But I understand the premise and why people, and you especially, would really like this. So I was gonna ask though. So the new games, or the new game modes, I guess, or the new, like, we've had times before where it's like the really shit ones that really hard to explain, or it takes like a few ones to actually understand.
Yeah, I think there isn't one of those. I think this is actually the first pack where I'm like, I think almost every single game is well established enough that I'm like, there isn't a dud in the pack. So I feel like that's true. Okay. Sometimes I'm like 3 of these games are really good in this pack, but then the 4th and the 5th, the 4th one doesn't really make sense, and then the 5th one is like, it's not that good. But then like, they've got established franchise now that they have Quiplash 3 in it, so I think people know Quiplash by this point.
Yeah.
That's really cool. We have The Devils and the Details. That's an amazing co-op game that also has a slight twist where it's anti-co-op, where you have to do tasks with people. It's very much like the game Space Team. Champed Up is basically you have to draw a mascot, and then via a prompt, and then it fights somebody else's mascot that they've drawn. That's a pretty simple game. There's I don't remember. I'm looking at the photos on the store page. Blather Round is basically charades, but you can only use prompts the game gives you to describe something. This is one of my favorites. I love Blather Round. Basically, you'll be like, you'll get given the word Shrek, and then you would have to be like, it's a very swamp thing. It's a very green onion. And then people would have to be like, what, the Earth? And you're like, it's not like the Earth. And then like, that's how you communicate. So you can sometimes it'll be like, if someone types an answer, you can say, it's not similar to the Earth, or it's very similar to the. It is like basically it's like it's very like GIMP charade sort of thing, which makes it quite fun.
I like that. That's good.
And then I think the presentation one's really cool. You have to, everyone writes a topic for a presentation, and then you get given one at random, and then somebody else is controlling the presentation slides and what photos come up. And then it's like, so you have to make a presentation on the fly on some weird subject. That's really fun. I love that one as well. So like, honestly, the Jackbox Party Pack 7 might be one of the best ones they've made. There is like no dud game in my opinion. So in previous ones I've said, hey, this game's kind of weird and I don't really understand it. Why is it in the pack? But no, genuinely really cool.
I still think it should be like one like big game that you add a big collection of, but I guess they want to release it and actually advertise each new version of the game or each new increment of the game.
Okay, I was gonna give a quick shout to Devolverland Expo because that technically came out in 2020 and is a game, I guess. That was pretty funny. How Devolver Digital. I think it was cool to see because it was a way Devolver.
It was really cool.
It was cool because Devolver. It was showing how E3 didn't have to be a bunch of guys on a stage. It could be like an immersive gaming experience, and it could be really fun. We've seen this stuff from Fortnite, where they did the in-game concerts. That stuff was cool. I like interactive media, and I like experimental stuff, and I like what Devolver does, so shout out to them. But I think that's every game that came out in 2020 that I played in 2020. Right there. So it's not a crazy long list. There is other games that came out. Let's go through the technicalities. Technically, Black Mesa came out in 2020. And I would say the game pretty much did come out in 2020 because I would say it is in its fully finished state in 2020. We have the Tangerine video where I explained for 23 minutes why I liked Black Mesa. The cliff notes are the first half of Black Mesa is very faithful to the original source material of the original Half-Life 1. And then the second part of the game, they completely redesigned the Zen, so they're kind of going off the rails and they're designing their own thing. But in my opinion, it was a good thing because the original Zen sucked and was really short. But like half the game is the Black Mesa team making their own thing, and the other half of the game is a faithful recreation of Half-Life. If you like the sound of that, check that out. And I would say, I think the tone is very different between I think the faithful recreation of Half-Life 1 is very like product of its time, it is very much like a 90s Half-Life game, and it with all the quirks included. But then the Zen is very much open, and it's almost like an action film, and it feels very like the two game. They feel like two games, it's kind of, but they're still very fun sort of thing. Halo 2, Halo 3, and ODST all came out in 2020 technically, but they didn't really. The Master Chief Collection came out at the end of 2019. So
if this was a Steam Awards, that would count.
I've played like 100 hours of the Master Chief Collection. I would highly recommend picking up the Master Chief Collection. It's really fun. I played Among Us a lot in 2020. I feel like that's not an unpopular game to talk about. We've done a video on Among Us. There's not much to say, so if you were more interested in Among Us, to see that. Technical Deep Rock Galactic, I've talked to death about it. It's still really good. And
this year,
it technically came out in May 2020. And all the stuff
it was a big update.
All the stuff they've added is really cool because this year I played Deep Rock and I played the new tank game mode where you have to escort a tank to a fucking core, and then like the rock starts coming alive and it's like a boss fight and it's amazing. Cool. There's rail grinding where you have to build your own pipeline like it's Satisfactory. That's amazing. It's Deep Rock Galactic is fucking amazing, dude. I played tons of Risk of Rain 2 technically came out this year as well. I've played tons of Risk of Rain 2 this year as well.
You played it a lot, right?
Risk of Rain 2 was really fun. And the game has an ending now, and I haven't finished it, so I'll have to go back to that at some point. Satisfactory technically came to Steam in 2020. I've been playing a ton of Satisfactory.
It's not even out of early access yet. It just came to 2020.
Satisfactory is really fun. Highly recommend that. I've played Golf with Your Friends more than any multiplayer game my friends this year. I've even built my own custom Golf with Your Friends map, or I'm in the process of doing it. I've built about 4 holes, and so yeah, this is another game
rude
where
every time.
Sorry?
I swear every time people describe golf with your friends, like it ends up you talk about holes, and it sounds rude every time.
Well, it's like a golf thing, you know. If you always bring an extra pair of shorts in case you get a hole in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're constantly updating this game. I love the worm stuff. I love the aquatic update. I love how customizable the game is. It always feels fresh because there's a workshop and people like me can make custom maps. So there's never a time where I'm like, man, I've played this map before.
But other people who make games for a living can also make maps.
That was my games from 2020. Tony, do you have anything to add before I try and go over the games I played in 2020?
I think you did a pretty good job of pretty much everything, to be honest. I wanted...
Is there anything you wanted to talk about, though?
I'm going to mention Raji a bit, because like, we played it, but it's more of in... We've got another section for that already, though, so I don't think we need to go into detail now. So
right.
And I want to mention that games...
Right, it's very sci-fi.
I want to mention Hades. I have not played it properly yet.
Yeah,
but I want to at least mention it honorably.
Me and you both own Hades now, but we've not played it. So even though it's getting Game of the Year from like pretty much everyone right now,
I've seen a lot of it now.
Yeah,
and it looks really fun.
We will play Hades at some point. We both own it.
Yeah. So we can move on.
Let's go. I would say the best game I played in 2020. The Outer Wilds, guys. It has to be the Outer Wilds. I can't think of it. Okay. I think when a game's truly good, I stop playing the game, and when I walk away from the computer, I just sit and think about the game, and I think about everything I've experienced and felt in the game, and it's a game that makes you feel emotions and think, and that's an amazing experience to have. If you want to see my full thoughts, check out the Tangerine video, but it's one of those games where the less you know about it, the better. If you want to play a single-player, narrative-driven game that's kind of reminiscent of like the feeling of being alone in space on a little craft, this game is amazing. And then I would say probably the game I think I might have enjoyed the most in 2020, other than the Outer Wilds, is probably Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. You were kind of surprised about this one. I was like, this game is low-key amazing.
Well, yeah,
it's low-key probably one of the best games I played in 2020. It's great.
The original reviews of the original Yooka-Laylee, right? And I was like, oh, but I thought, I don't know, I didn't expect very much from it. But then, the more content I saw from it, after you sent me the other people reviewing it and playing it, I was like, oh, this actually looks really good fun.
The thing is, I think people saw the reviews for the original Yooka-Laylee, but the thing is with Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible
Nothing
Lair,
like the original, though.
It's a completely different game. It's not even the same aspect. The original Yooka-Laylee is 3D, and this is 2.5D.
Well, you know how you collect? Is it feathers you collect in this game?
Yeah, quills. Yeah.
From my understanding, a lot of criticism of the original game is they did not understand how collecting quills worked.
It was a collectathon game that didn't have very good collecting. Is that what you're trying to say?
This is it's like sort of a collectathon game that actually is good. They've actually learned from the original Yooka-Laylee.
Well, the thing is, I own the original Yooka-Laylee and I own the Impossible Lair. And I chose to play this one because I was like, well, even if it's the second one they made, this one just looked more interesting to me, sort of thing. And I think there wasn't a lot of press about this game, but it's
I didn't see anything.
Truly an amazing game. It looks great. It plays great. I've 100%ed the game. Not technically, but 100% as I'm willing to go. If you want to know more, check out the Tangerine.
You haven't 110%.
I haven't 110% of the game, but I've 100% of the game, pretty much. I will not do the Impossible Lair of One Life. Fuck that.
Do we want to explain that?
No, watch the Tangerine video if you want to know more.
Watch Tangerine.
Anything else I want to give a shit? Oh, Blackout Club. I have not talked about that yet at all. Once again, this goes under the Phasmophobia umbrella. It is a co-op horror game. It was insanely fun with friends. But in a lot of ways, I would say Phasmophobia is closer to Payday 2 than it is to Phasmophobia, I would say, because
Okay.
it's kind of like a secret stealth game. The way Blackout Club works is you're a bunch of kids and you've realized that there's a cult going on in the city you live in. And one of the big
Okay.
things about the cult is when people go to sleep, they take over their bodies, sort of thing. They go and sleepwalk and they go and capture people. So a lot of the
Oh, that's really
enemies,
cool.
they're asleep, so they can't see things. But a big thing they have is sound is a big thing. So when they hear you making a noise, they come for you. And you have a system called Sin in the game, where when you knock down a door, that creates lots of noise. And if a sleeper discovers that, they go and report that to the entity, sort of thing. I
Right.
think it's called the Angel, sort of thing.
I really like how creepy this
Yeah.
looks as well. I really like this.
It's cool that you
It
have
looks
these
so
tools,
cool.
but you're still you're just kids, so it's like you can't
Yeah.
really do anything, sort of thing, when you're getting attacked, sort of thing. It's like
So
a
what's the actual gameplay? What do you actually have to do? Like what are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah. So you're part of the Blackout Club, and basically you're a club of kids who've discovered this cult, and what you're doing is you're documenting the cult. You're gathering evidence. Each mission's different and is like kind of procedurally generated, sort of thing, which is pretty cool. So you're recording evidence. You're putting up posters to recruit more people to the Blackout Club. You're rescuing people because sometimes it's kind of dark because it's like, oh, you're kids, but then the cult kidnaps the kids into a maze underneath the town. By the way, it's not just the town. There's an entire fucking maze system underneath the town where the cult hangs out. And as you play more, you unlock more of the maze, sort of thing. I really like the
Okay,
unlock system in this game where the maps get bigger as you play more, sort of thing. That's really cool.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
like
really cool.
the maze is so creepy, dude. There's like some rooms are just like twisting rooms, and there's a broadcast room where they're just broadcasting strange messages. And
Yeah,
when I
I'm
first
really
started
digging
playing
the
this game,
creepiness.
it was like super creepy and scary and stuff. But
Yeah.
then when you play the game more, you get better at it. So like the game, it's not as creepy sort of thing, but it's still rewarding because there's a level up system. You unlock stuff. I think like it has way more polish than Phasmophobia. That was the thing I noticed at first was this has been in the oven a lot longer than Phasmo. Phasmo came out in 2020.
Yeah.
I think this has been in early access since like 2016 sort of thing. So you can
Okay,
see
fair
the
enough.
polish of, unlockable outfits, unlockable skills, stuff like that.
Are they okay?
Yeah, it's hard to go into. Like, I want to go in depth, but I'm not sure how much time I have, sort of
Um,
thing.
yeah, we're getting quite late, I guess. So yeah, I guess we should.
But the
We're
thing
still,
is, like,
are we still going to do a proper tangerine on this? I guess is the question.
I don't know actually. I
I
think I
think
have
we
to talk.
should. I kind of want to explore this, look at it more, to be
Okay,
honest. So
talk about it. Okay, we'll do a tangerine on it then.
yeah, I really like creepy stuff though. Like, so this is like, I really like the color. Like, yeah,
All right.
that's
Let's
so
give a
cool. I'll
shout.
have to check it
I'm
out.
gonna give some shout outs. Shout out to Dishonored 2. Full stealth playthrough. It was really fun. It's full stealth, nether scene. That was really cool. Ape Out, I think, was one of the best games I played in 2020 as well. Ape Out was amazing. Definitely check out the Tangerine on Ape Out. I played through the whole of Subnautica. Subnautica's amazing. Torchlight 1. I feel like it doesn't get talked about as much as Torchlight 2, but Torchlight 1 is an amazing single player experience.
I
Definitely
think
check
Torchlight
out.
2 is better, isn't it? So
Well, Torchlight 1's single player. That's one of the big differences, sort of thing.
no, yeah, but I'm saying that from what the things you like 2 has all of that and is better from what or is it different? I
I don't
can't
know.
actually
I
remember like the
haven't played
reviews of
Torchlight
the
2. I can't tell
right.
you the differences.
Okay.
World War Z was a really cool multiplayer zombie game. I played through it and I was like, this is kind of like what I'd expect a Left 4 Dead 3 would look like. But now we're going to get to see what a Left 4 Dead 3 might look like from Back 4 Blood. So I'm going to directly compare like Left 4 Dead 2, Back 4 Blood, and World War Z at some point when I get access to that game, and we'll talk about the intricate details. I put down GTA Online. I actually played quite a lot of GTA Online in 2020, and I had a surprising amount of fun in it. Yes.
Okay, I didn't know
The
that.
Casino Heist update came out in 2020, and it was really fun. We just had a new update as well. The heist. There was like a where they've designed the heist is an entire island map. So there's an entire new island that's the whole heist, which is really cool. I kind of want to play that again. I don't know if I have it installed because it's so fucking huge, and I never not want to install it on an SSD because it makes it unplayable. I have Red Dead Redemption Online. So I'm going to play Red Dead Redemption Online as well. At some point as well, because Red Dead Redemption Online was really cheap for the month of December. Because it was a special promotion. I think it was like £5 to get just Red Redemption Online sort of thing.
What was it going up to after that?
I'll just check the price now. I'll check the price now. I'll just quickly check that for you. It is now. Oh, it's still £4.49 for now, but they did say the price was going to go up at some point. So maybe, maybe you've got a little bit of time left, sort of thing. Maybe it's until the end of the sale, maybe sort of thing, which is January 6th.
Yeah, probably.
So I'll check back on that and I'll tell you. But I got it. Oh, another great thing about Red Dead Redemption Online, Tony, is if you want to play Red Dead Redemption Online, you have to install the entirety of Red Dead Redemption 2, which is over 100 gigabytes.
Wait, what?
Just in case you want to upgrade and get the whole game.
What?
Yep. So have fun with that.
What?
Yep.
I don't understand. That seems so dumb.
At the start of this year, I played a ton of Human Fall Flat. It's kind of like co-op Gang Beasts. That game was really fun in co-op. Terraria is really fucking cool. From what I played of it, I feel like I never fully got into it, but I did play quite a lot of it.
Yeah, I completely forgot actually. You did a lot of Terraria, didn't you?
Yeah, I did Tangerine and Terraria. Alien Isolation is fun from what I've played, but I only played about 3 hours of it, so I'll be going back to that. I played tons of Skyblock, the Minecraft mod. Highly recommend Sky Factory.
Yeah,
3.
a very fucking old version of Minecraft.
And I've also been playing Forager at the end of the year because I picked up in the sale because I've been wanting to play it for a while. It's one of those games where it's a idle game that makes you want to play. It's pretty much like a survival crafting game that also has like idler mechanics. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. It is basically what I want from a Skyblock, actually, like from what I've seen. I own the game. I need to actually play it.
Those are the shout-outs for the best games I played in 2020. Let's go on the best demos of 2020. And if you're somebody who says, well, you shouldn't make demos because people will just play the demo and then they'll never get the full game sort of thing, I can tell you now, there are several games on this list that me and Tony have purchased because we liked the demo so much.
There's 2 on here I think I bought while we were recording. So
yep. So the first game up is, of course,
that's just one, I think.
Ghost Runner.
That's fine.
I think me and you both now own Ghost Runner. It's a ray tracing title. It looks amazing. I played the demo and I was like, oh my god. I played the entire demo and then I was like, oh wait, I was supposed to be doing a test recording. I just had so much fun playing this. I just played the entire thing. And then I was like, okay, now I have to record gameplay footage for it. But yeah, it's an insanely fun game. And a game of 2020 as well. Based on the strength of the demo, I think that's one of my games of 2020 as well. Because we both have the full game now. Gloomwood, New Blood Interactive, interesting thief-style stealth sort of game. Yeah. That was really cool. Check out our video on that. Going Under. One of the surprise hits for me from a demo festival was Going Under. I saw the trailer and I was like, I'm probably not going to like this game. One of the most fun roguelike games I played in 2020 was Going Under. Going Under is surprisingly amazing. Check out our spotlight for that. Vault, Tomb of the King, an amazing little puzzle game that we played in 2020. Crumble. This is the game I was talking about, Tony, where I was like, this is surprisingly a co-op game we played in person at the start of 2020, the 9th of February this came out. And this game was...
I completely forgot that I even played this game, I'm going to be honest with you.
But it had like a co-op mode, and then I played the single-player mode as well. But the thing I think this game got right was it got the sense of 3D momentum that you could get in like a Sonic game sort of thing. It got it so right in a lot of ways. Raji, of course. You wanted to talk about Raji. I thought this game was amazing because it looked great, and also I'm a huge fan of God of War, and I'd never seen like the Indian mythos stuff, so I was really interested to see that Asian kind of culture sort of thing and all their different gods and beliefs and stuff.
I've played a bit, like the actual movement and the actual just playing the character it feels really good as well. So
yeah,
and I'm still amazed that there's no HUD. Like I forget there's no HUD until like, oh yeah, there's no HUD in this game.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually insane that you don't even.
It gives you information inside the game. That's another thing about the greatest game of all time, Half-Life Alyx. Is on the footage I showed, it had like a HUD where it showed you how much regen and health I had. That's for spectator mode. That's what the people on the PC see in case you record it or stream it. I was looking at my wrist all the time to see how much health I had in game, sort of thing. So, just another way to say Half-Life Alyx is the greatest game of all time. RoboQuest. That was another great demo we played as well. That was really fun, and that has co-op as well. So I'd be interested to play that with you.
I own that game, so
yeah. We did a tangerine on two. We did a tangerine on two things. You said, "I'm buying them both. Put them in the cart."
Yes, and I did.
Destroy All Humans Remastered. We did a spotlight on that. You now own that.
I was very impressed because I've played both 1 and 2 to completion back in the day, and I was amazed at how well it's been remastered.
Rising Hell,
using
Tangerine.
The original audio, but still so good.
Rising Hell,
yeah.
Rising Hell, I think this is one of the games you were the most impressed with from what we played.
Only because I've played so much of it. Like, I don't want to necessarily say it's definitely better than like Raji or RoboQuest, but yeah, it's way. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm a sucker for hell stuff and the creepy stuff, and I was like watching you play, and I was like, oh, this looks really fun. I know that you said like at the time, like, but you don't like hard platformers or like or even roguelikes for that matter. I don't really play them that often. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with Rising Hell though. Like it's amazing how
it just didn't seem like the sort of game that you would play, because a lot of the games you play are very slow paced sort of
they are.
Crafting sort of games.
I've not always been an old man gamer though. I used to be a zoomer.
You used to be you won a boomer one time, yeah.
But I had a lot of fun with it, and like there's some. I want to do a tangerine on this at some point because like.
Yeah, I literally have a folder called Rising Hell plus Hell Card Co-op because we played.
Yeah, we need to actually do that.
We played. We played Hell Card
Co-op. In the heads in Rising Hell.
No, I did not.
Yeah, they die faster if you get the head. At least I think that's what's happening because I was like doing way better in my later runs. It was crazy.
But yeah, some of our favorite co-op experiences from me and Tony on Spotlight were Hellcard co-op and Fogs.
Oh my god,
Fogs as well. Fogs was really cool.
Yeah, I like Fogs. I prefer Hellcard is much better in my opinion though. But Fogs was hilarious though. But yeah, Hellcard, you like. Let's just play a quick one.
Yeah, and then we spent like an hour doing a run.
Yeah, and we died. We wanted to play again, but I think I wanted to do something else, I think, or I had to go up and do something else. I
wanted to do a shout out to Symphonia, but I'm not going to have time. Like, we're going to have to do a tangerine on, like, Symphonia and the Blackout Club. My original plan was Symphonia is amazing, and I cannot believe I played Symphonia and I couldn't believe it was a free student game on itch.io because it's so well made. It's so well made.
This is a really good one. This is a really good. Yeah. I've seen.
It's the fucking. It's the free game on itch that some guy made that has better platform mechanics than like AAA platformers.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. But yeah, I wrote down Star Trek Picard for some reason. I don't know why, but I feel like that was just my shout out to 2020. One of the big things for the year for the podcast for 2020 was we talked about a Star Trek TV show in 2020, and that's something we never talk about TV usually. And we made an entire series breaking down sets of episodes of Star Trek Picard.
We did like a red letter media thing where we like had to talk about a certain episode because it was so
episode 5 of Picard, man. What an episode. That's probably the best one,
okay,
guys.
that was an emergency tangerine.
Emergency tangerine. Star Trek Picard episode 5 has come out.
We spoke about the ending and stuff as well in the end, didn't we? I can't actually remember now.
Yeah, I think we talked about almost every episode in some capacity.
I'm so glad we spoke about it because it allowed me to just purge everything out of my mind. Like, it was so good. Like,
can I say, I couldn't watch more than 4 episodes of Discovery, but I was so excited every week for the next episode of Star Trek Picard. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because I love the characters.
Yeah.
But I actually really enjoyed waiting for the next episode of Star Trek Picard.
Really?
It's terrible in a great way. To me, it's almost prequel levels, especially episode 5 was reaching the prequel levels of meme-itude.
No, I have no intention of carrying on with any Star Trek thing created.
I am going to watch Star Trek Picard Season 2, and if you're there or not, I will keep watching it.
You try and convince me, how about that?
I'm going to watch Picard Season 2, and we will have Picard Season 2 tangerines.
I'll watch the first episode, right. We'll make a tangerine.
The thing is, if you don't watch Star Trek Picard, how would you know about French Picard? She is le bogue! She is le disgusting!
Yeah, but I found most of it really boring and just annoying. And I was like, oh, fuck off. I just
Dave says 2 words, anymore. Toby. Whoopi Goldberg. She's coming back, baby!
She's coming back. I can't wait.
I heard rumours LeVar Burton may be coming back to Star Trek Picard Season 2 as well. Might be on the cards, guys.
That's Geordie, right?
Yeah, Geordie LaForge.
Right, okay. I'm not very good with the original actors' names other than like Patrick Stewart and
Jonathan
I
Frakes.
Remember Riker's name's half.
Jonathan Frakes. Yeah. But yeah, pretty cool.
I know Michael Dorn.
Wait. I'm just thinking. Picard's a robot now, isn't he?
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to get used to that.
He's not immortal though.
No.
He has like a death timer.
Could you not give me another 20 years? Could you not just give me? Could you not give me? Another 20. Earl Grey always does the spot for me.
So does that mean? Oh, I don't. Unless no, I'm not. Let's not get into it.
Well, guys,
I'm purging it. I'm forgetting about it again.
With that, I think that sums up 2020. Star Trek Picard was a thing that happened. Pre-COVID. Literally, Star Trek Picard made COVID, so it wouldn't be the worst thing of 2020. That's what happened.
That's what happened, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's the end. Is there anything else you want to say on this brand new year? Oh, but last time we talked about 2020 and we made bold predictions on what's going to happen. Do you want to make any bold predictions for 2021? Star Trek Picard Season 2 is going to be the best season yet. It's going to be amazing, guys.
No, it's going to be worse.
Wow. You think it's going to be worse than Season 1?
Yes.
Okay, I'm hoping. All I'm hoping is for more Red Letter Media Star Trek Picard episodes.
I'm excited for those. I might just watch those and just skip the whole thing, but...
Right.
I don't know. I'll watch it, and I don't know, watch it properly. Maybe, okay, how about this? If we watch it together, so we can shout at it, I'm okay doing that.
Yep. Okay, well...
I think I can't watch by myself.
Amazon has watch parties. I will watch party Star Trek Picard when it...
Oh yeah,
guys,
Prime, isn't it?
Let's watch party Picard when it comes out. I'm going to watch party Picard every episode. And if you guys are there or not, we will watch Star Trek Picard together.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Vietnam Dave's in. I think, Dave, you joined us on this episode of Picard as well. I want to have up as well. So we'll get Dave back on to talk about Star Trek.
I do have one last. I have a couple. Oh, okay. I have one proper last mention. I want to
Go
just
on.
remind everyone that Final Fantasy VII Remake came out in 2020.
Yep.
I have not played it, obviously, because I did not own a PS4, but it looks really good.
When it comes to PC, Tony will be pre-ordering it, and
I
he'll get
will.
it.
I'll be pre-ordering it. Yeah, and I
He's
pre-ordered Cyberpunk
pre-ordered it.
2077, and I still think it's a good. I know Dave doesn't not a big fan, but I like what I've seen so far. So.
I don't think Dave was particularly not a.
No, he wasn't. But yeah, he wasn't blown away by
I'm
it.
gonna,
I
I'm
guess. I
gonna.
don't want to
From
say.
what Dave said to me, he said it didn't hold his attention like
Yeah.
Pathological 2 did. The real game of 2020.
So I'm actually kind of. I could just play it. I'm kind of hyped to play Cyberpunk. So that's what I wanted to mention, though. Those are my. I think we mentioned everything else,
Yep.
either in the Steam Awards or today, or
Yep.
you've mentioned.
Okay. So those are the in-between podcast games of 2020. It was a good year for games. There was tons I didn't talk about. We didn't talk about Hades. There's tons of. We didn't talk about is Ghost of Tsushima came out this year as well. I don't have PlayStation 4. We had me and you both have Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and I haven't fucking played it, and I fucking love Ori and the Blind Forest.
I haven't played the first game yet.
Well, I've played the first game, and I fucking love Ori, and I didn't get a chance to sneak it into my games of 2020 because I haven't played it yet. And I'm so upset, and I'm going to be like, my game of 2021, Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
He's done it again. He's done it again.
Yeah. I'm going to be talking about Resident Evil remakes, because I have those now.
Yeah, that was good.
I like how Halo Infinite is still listed for games of 2020. When, but yeah.
That's pretty fun.
I didn't get a chance to talk about Bug Snacks, guys. Gonna have to talk about Bug Snacks next year if I play that. Okay.
I guess Baldur's Gate. That's not mentioned, but it's kind of a weird one.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say about it. Looks good though.
Happy New Year, guys. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.